Now, I'm telling you, Calvin, I'm feeling more and more like myself every single day. And I'm not just telling you that so you won't postpone your wedding again.
Darn it, there goes my last excuse.
I'm sure you don't feel that way. I'm sure you're just as anxious as Star is.
Well, I don't know. You know, it seemed like a really good idea when I first asked the question, but as time gets closer and closer, I can't help feeling my feet getting colder and colder.
Well, just think of how cold they'd be if you were all alone on those cold winter nights, huh?
You do have a point there. Yes, that's true. But listen, all kidding aside, I'm really glad that you're feeling better. You know, not because of the wedding either, but you really had us worried then.
Well, I think this is just all because of my night in the woods. You know, I got a relapse of some kind. Tell me something. Have they heard any word about that man?
No, not a thing. You know, it's my guess that he just probably skipped the whole state entirely. And I couldn't blame him once he'd heard that every cop around here was looking forward to collaring him personally.
Anyway, I'll tell you what, if I take real good care of myself, I will not only be at your wedding, but I'll be able to fill in for you on the duty roster when you're on your honeymoon.
Hold on. I wouldn't push it, kid.
No, I'm fine, really, but I have learned my lesson. Well, I guess the next time I see you is at your on your,
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be there even if I have to show up in fur-lined boots.
Oh, come on, you won't do that. Oh, I need to get something to eat, Calvin. I'm starving. All I've got to eat is some soup, though.
Yeah, how come?
Well, Mr. Kavanaugh, Dr. Kavanaugh, thought that it would be a good idea for me to throw out all my food in case that was what was making me sick. So my neighbor sent over some soup.
Well, I'll let you get to it then.
Okay. Well, I'll see you in the church.
Ciao.
Bye. Thank you, Mrs. Corey.
Hey, what are you doing here? Why aren't you at home packing your trousseau?
The groom does not have a trousseau, you dummy, just the bride.
Oh, well, what do I know?
Yes, you're just an ignorant bachelor. What would you know?
Wait a minute. If I remember correctly, you're still an ignorant bachelor yourself, which means we should have a bachelor's party. Let me call some of the guys.
Oh,
we'll
no,
get
you
together.
don't. Oh, no, you don't. I remember what happened when you guys had that bachelor party for Jim Penny. You got the guy so drunk he passed out.
Oh, yeah. We wrapped his arm up in bandages, and then we told him he broke it the next day.
He spent his entire honeymoon with his arm in a sling. Oh, was that nice?
Hey, you think I'd let them do that to a friend of mine?
Thanks, pal.
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about Star. Oh, you ugly son of a gun. I don't know how you did it. I mean, you got no charm, no education. Look, you don't even know how to dress, and no conversation to speak of. And you walk off with one of the finest ladies in Monticello.
And you thought that blondes had more fun.
There is nothing inherently wrong with plea bargaining when you can get a good deal, and this is a good one.
What kind of a good deal can we get for a kid like Benny Hayes, huh? This is a rotten punk. He sells dope to school kids. He shoots his father every time he gets the urge.
We're prosecuting him for one offense, possession. We got no case for dealing. We got no case for shooting his father.
Then all the more reason to come down hard on him for this. Let's send this kid up the river for 20 years, huh?
Better go back and read the rule book. All we can pin on him is 1 year, and we'd be lucky to get that because it's his first offense.
Logan, do you want to see Benny Hayes walk away from that courtroom with a smile surrounding that toothpick of his?
He doesn't walk away. That's the point of the deal. He gets 3 months to see and rue the error of his ways.
Oh, wow. 3 months. Great. Kid gets out in time for baseball season. What kind of example are we setting for future pushers, huh? I mean, what kind of justice are we meting out here?
Why do I get suspicious when you adopt this high moral tone? Come on. What are you so gung-ho about this case for?
Just righteous indignation, I guess.
Otherwise known as Deborah Saxon.
What's she got to do with this?
She's the arresting officer. She'll be there in court. You want to put on a show for her? Is that it? Stomp around like Clarence Darrow, snap your suspenders?
Hey, now, wait a minute. Now, you got this all wrong, boss. I don't even wear suspenders.
Terrific. I'm trying to run an efficient department. He wants to impress his girlfriend.
Would you sacrifice justice for the sake of efficiency?
In my humble opinion, the best way to put Hayes away is by bargaining.
And in my opinion, I think...
enough. It's your case. Handle it any way you want.
Thanks, boss. I won't disappoint you. By the way, do you know any place I can get a pair of suspenders cheap?
I'd like to suspend you by your thumbs.
I'm sorry, you must be a mind reader, Nelson. I was just about to knock.
Come on in, Dirk.
I'm not interrupting a meeting, am I?
Oh, no. On my way to a heavy date with a light redhead.
Too bad she doesn't know about it yet, though.
I haven't had a chance yet to thank you for inviting me to that Christmas party, Logan.
Oh, glad to hear that. I wasn't sure whether you liked it or not.
I did. I also liked your friends, April and Draper.
I don't know anybody that doesn't.
And it was a pleasure to meet the famous Mike Carr. He's a pretty modest guy for somebody with his reputation.
Best lawyer in the state. The only thing he hasn't done in his career is write a book about himself.
Well, if he ever does, I'd like to read that book.
Oh, I'd suggest that to him. He could collaborate with his wife.
By the way, how is that story of hers coming along?
Frankly, I don't know. I guess she hasn't gotten any serious trouble, or we'd have heard about it, and she looked fine at the Christmas party.
Well, I still think she's making a mistake, putting journalism ahead of the law.
Oh, she's not doing that, and you know it. Standard procedure for a reporter to protect their sources when they're chasing down a story, even if the source is criminal.
Well, it may be standard, but that doesn't mean I agree with it. And I don't suppose I'm going to change the world.
No. Oh, by the way, April and Draper liked you, too. I think you are going to be in line for a dinner invitation.
People always take pity on the poor, lonely bachelors. Why don't they realize that sometimes we're alone because we want to be?
Yeah, sure, right.
Wasn't said with much enthusiasm.
Well, my enthusiasm for loneliness is wearing thin.
Well, the other problem about getting mixed up with married couples is they inevitably know some nice young girl who should have been married a few years ago but just hasn't met the right guy yet.
Yeah, I've been getting a bit of that myself recently.
The other thing about happily married couples is that I just don't buy it.
Oh, you don't, huh?
Come on, Logan, face it. Most of that happiness is just put on for show. If you want the real truth, just,
I know. I've seen the statistics. Marriage, separation, divorce. I know all of that.
Yeah, well, take a poll just at this office. 100% divorce rate.
You should have taken your poll at the party the other night, shouldn't you? April and Draper, married 2 years, still crazy about each other. Mike and Nancy Carr, 15 years, the marriage is still solid as a rock. You Miles and Nicole, your survey would have had different results there, wouldn't it?
How long have they been married?
Well, Miles and Nicole? About a year, I think.
A year? Well, I thought they had a child almost 3 years old.
Adam's from a previous marriage.
Well, there, doesn't that say something? Most marriages just don't last.
Adam's father died.
Oh. Logan, let's get down to cases, okay?
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, perfect.
Oh, what I wouldn't give for a hot bath right now.
How about a hot toddy?
Would you ladies care to order something to drink?
Oh, yes.
Something different, huh?
Margarita.
Yes.
Or, frozen daiquiri.
A white wine.
A white
Thank you. Red wine.
One red wine. Okay.
Can't tell you how good it is not to be doing the 6 o'clock news right now. You know, Margaret's doing 2 or 3 shows a week. It's doing her a lot of good. It's doing me a lot of good.
Oh, I'm glad to hear. Oh, wait. I have here for you pictures and as much information as I can find on that story you're doing, okay? Hope it helps.
Very good.
Okay. Thank you. I'm glad to hear that about Margot because it's very good to be able to do useful work when your personal life isn't very fulfilling.
Well, I'm trying to do useful work and have a fulfilling personal life.
So am I, but they do conflict sometimes.
Oh,
don't
they conflict all the time, especially when You're involved in the kind of work we are.
Mm-hmm. Well, as a matter of fact, Nicole, I am right in the middle of that kind of a conflict with Mike.
Oh. It's kind of difficult to think of you and Mike disagreeing about anything.
Oh, really? Well, we do. My goodness, when I think back to all the times we used to argue about the risks he would take when he was working with the crime commission. You remember that, don't you? Sometimes those people would just as soon shoot him as look at him.
Tables are turned now, though. Is that the problem?
Oh, no. This informer I've been trying to interview. Well, he is a criminal, but I honestly don't think that he's violent.
But you haven't been able to convince Mike of that now, have you?
No, the only thing I've been able to accomplish is just create more friction.
I didn't notice any friction at the Christmas party.
Well, things aren't the same. It makes me sick.
Here we go. Red wine for you.
No,
No?
it's over here.
Oh, I'm so
No,
sorry.
it's all right.
Here we go.
Wait a minute, before you go, isn't this the restaurant that has that cheese and apple pie?
Yes,
yes.
It's very good.
Get one?
One
Yes,
order the
thank
cheese and
you.
fruit.
Okay.
So, anyway, I made the mistake of telling Mike where I was meeting my informant, and I guess the fact that I was carrying a good deal of cash also made him very concerned.
Well, understandably.
Well, wait, the plot thickens. Mike had promised not to ask any of his friends at the police to come by, and just see how things were going for me.
That would have been very reassuring.
Nicole, it would have been a disaster.
Wait a minute. Are you telling me that Mike went against his word and called in the police?
No. He followed me himself. He felt that since he hadn't promised not to be there to protect me, that he felt perfectly justified. I can't agree with it.
As I say.
So you can just imagine what happened after that. When my informant spotted Mike, off he went, and off went $500 of newspaper's money.
Well, how did he know it was Mike?
Well, now there, I guess it was my fault because I reacted. I was so shocked. He shouldn't have been there.
Well, I guess Mike felt that he was protecting his woman.
I know, Nicole. I realize that, but sometimes those feelings aren't the best. Anyway, we've had some heated discussions, heated silences.
I'm sure you two will work it out. I mean, you're much too close to let any sort of disagreement last.
Oh, I know. It's the last thing in the world I want for anything to happen to my marriage. It's the most important thing in the world to me.
I feel the same way about mine.
However, that doesn't mean that I'm willing to give up my prerogatives and my privileges as a journalist. Or as a woman, for that matter.
I don't think Michael's going to ask you to do that.
No, I don't think so.
Here we go.
Thank you.
Good. And a fork.
Thank you. That looks very nice.
Enjoy it.
Well, he's made me another promise. Next time, he will absolutely not interfere.
Well, I'm sure he won't. You know, Miles and I have had a little problem, too, recently. Well, it's not a conflict between us, but I'm really worried about his health.
Why? Is he sick?
Well, no, he says he's just fine. It's just that, well, his hours are worse than my hours. He works constantly. He works from early morning until evening, and sometimes into the night.
Oh, but he's doing 2 jobs now, though, isn't he?
Oh, yeah, well, that's part of the problem. He has his practice, and it's always growing, and his forensic work at the police department has doubled in the past 6 months. I mean, when he gets home, he's exhausted. And sometimes he just doesn't seem like himself.
In what way, Nicole?
Oh, God, not serious, but the last couple of days. Did you listen to us? Turning this into a husband complaint session. We are here to do business, remember?
Yeah.
Tell me about the fitting.
Oh, my wedding gown is beautiful. I feel like Cinderella.
Oh, boy, I bet you look like her, too.
What you gonna wear?
Oh, I don't even know. I don't think I've got anything that'll fit me anymore.
You lost.
It's way too lucky, Duck.
I lost a little weight, but I don't know how lucky I am.
Well, you did go about it the hard way, I must admit.
Really?
But are you really feeling better now?
Well, yeah, it's funny. It's the same thing that Calvin asked me. He wants to know whether or not I'm pretending to be well so he can postpone the wedding again.
Oh, look, baby, as much as I want you, there's my maid of honor. With or without you, Calvin Stoner is going to be married in the next couple of days. I have decided.
I like to hear that. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it, how nervous men get the closer and closer they get to their wedding day?
And women just get calmer and calmer and calmer. Oh, girl, please be there, because it just wouldn't be the same without you, you know? You and Steve are our two closest friends in this world, and, well, you know what I mean.
Yeah, we feel the same way.
Uh-huh, and that's what I like to hear, that magic word, we.
Please, no propaganda.
Well, I'm giving you fair warning. Once I've roped and tied my man, I'm gonna start in on the next wedding, and I
think you know who's up.
Star, I just remembered something.
What?
I left my soup on the stove. Hold on. Who is it?
Mr. Deborah Saxon, the Recreational Committee.
No, I know I'm gonna regret this.
Hi, how you doing? How you feel?
Fine, fine.
Oh, terrific. Now we can go to a party. Here. It's a New Year's Eve party celebrated 3 days late, so you got 3 days to try out the new decade to see whether or not it's worth spending the money on the party. Hey, friends of mine are kicky, but I don't think they'll let you in like that. Why don't you get some clothes on? We'll go.
Well, no, Cliff, I've already got my dinner on the stove.
Huh?
Yeah.
You call that dinner? Pot full of soup?
Well, it's good homemade soup with all kinds of goodies in it.
Well, what kind of dinner is that for a growing girl, huh?
Well, that's all I've got right now. It's all I want. And if you're thinking of changing your reservation to a shade Saxon, you can... Oh, my gosh, Star.
No, not yet. Just a minor constellation.
Star, I'm sorry. The doorbell rang and I had to...
Turn my soup off. Anyway, what were you talking about?
Well, it sounds like you're really busy there. Who is it, the old lady next door?
Oh, no, she hasn't called me yet. Actually, it was a traveling salesman. I'm not buying, though.
Hey, let me talk to her. Come on.
Wait, you don't even know her.
Hello, Star. This is Cliff Nelson. How would you like to have the assistant district attorney of Monticello at your wedding?
Sure. You know, any friend of Deborah's is a friend of mine.
Any friend of Deborah's is a friend of mine.
You are going to be sorry about that one.
Well, is he really a friend?
Well, he's a little bit of a friend, but don't tell him I said so. Anyway, you were talking about Calvin.
Yeah. Is he really getting kind of nervous?
As the proverbial cat.
Well, as long as he doesn't get cold paws.
No, he won't. He's so crazy about you.
And, you know, I think he's really special, too. Well, goodbye and have a good time with your traveling sales.
All I'm going to do is eat my soup. It's just the soup that Mrs. Corey made for me. You know, it's so nice of her. She made sure that I was all taken care of, even though she's not even here. Yeah, well, I'll talk to you again tomorrow, unless you're too busy with your wedding preparations and stuff. Yes. Okay, good night. What are you doing?
Oh, nothing. Just sitting here, digesting.
Digesting. Cliff, you ate all my soup!
Yeah, no, you were right. It was really good.
You ate everything!
Yeah, I know. I ate the whole thing.
You've got a lot of nerve, you know that?
I don't know what came over me. I mean, you were in there on the phone, and I had nothing to do, so I took a little spoonful, and then I took another spoonful, and then another, and pretty soon I was hooked. Do you think I'm a vegetable soup junkie?
How can you do that to me?
Hey, this was just the appetizer.
You know, I don't have anything in my refrigerator at all to eat. I
Well,
threw
then,
everything out.
I guess you're just going to have to go to dinner with me.
I am not going to go
Hey, no,
anywhere.
look, now, you got to go to dinner. You can't go shopping anymore. By the time you got to the checkout counter, you'd be starving.
Cliff, I don't know what I'm going to
Now,
do
look
with
now,
you.
I got
This is-
reservations here in town. Do you know how difficult it is to get reservations this time of year? You got to keep up your strength.
I think I probably have enough strength to throw you out of here.
Every time we start having fun, somebody comes to the door. It's probably the blue-eyed, blonde-haired cavalry.